Hello and welcome to Glaucoma Traveller. This is a video from my trip to Italy in May 2024 and we're at Herculaneum. Here we are, meeting up with our tour guide for our tour of Herculaneum. This was provided through Shearings Holidays, a very nice coach company from the UK. And here you will see a little overview of the Herculaneum itself. Really nice and compact compared to Pompei. But one of the nice things about Herculaneum is the access. And as you'll see shortly, as we walk down the slope, it's quite nice to go down that slope if you're vision impaired or you have mobility problems. Really nice entrance to the actual site itself. And we'll discuss a bit more about accessibility later on. As you can see from the images, Herculaneum is in a far better state of repair than that of Pompei. It's more complete in a lot of ways, certainly in the way in which some of the housing is intact, and sort of represents a good idea of how people in Herculaneum live their lives. It is really interesting to see how so modern it is in some respects, in that there's the courtyard and the way in which they use the houses to keep themselves cool in this summer heat. And it's just like any other normal city or town you would expect to be in, but it's so interesting that I found this particular area far more interesting than what I did in Pompei.
In this central room. Central room is the room for the winners. In the niche, you have to imagine the statue of a divinity, or probably the statue of the mythical founder of Herculano. You know, Herculaneum. This comes from Hercules, the city of the famous hero Hercules. Probably there was a statue of Hercules under the foundation. And so this was a room for the awards, for the winners. Then you have to imagine the money is coming.
Ich will auch nochmal auf dem Klo, weil er meint so danach.
And look and watch the young people during the competition, so during the sport competition. Now, you have to imagine that we are entering a huge courtyard.
Also
You
da
have to
hinten
imagine this blue sky above us also when we enter the courtyard. In the middle of the courtyard there was a cross-shaped swimming pool. So now we enter the cross-shaped swimming pool, and you have to imagine, I repeat, that it was in the open air before the exhibition. Okay? Now,
And here we'll see the sculpture of Hydra, and this is in a very tight entrance, as you'll see shortly, which is why we were queuing up to get in there. But once you're in there, it's really nice, but it is dark. This sculpture is actually not the original sculpture, because that's in a museum. It is very dark, and I'd say for somebody like myself with vision impairment, it can be a little bit. It's not too dark, but it depends on your vision. And as you can see here, we're walking down some steps to get into the actual place where Hydra is. But as you can see, there's some light coming through, so it's not too bad. As you walk through Herculaneum, you'll see some fantastic mosaics and paintings, and some are very vibrant still because of the protection they've had from the lava flow and what have you, and because Herculaneum is better preserved than Pompeii, I think some of the paintings are very, very vibrant, and as you look through here, you see the mosaics. I'm sure that if you put a bit more light on there, they'd be so vibrant and so alive. And this is one of the good things I think about Herculaneum as a visit to Pompeii rather than Pompeii, is that it's more manageable. And I think for someone who maybe might be overwhelmed by Pompeii, you can be, I suppose, because it's such a big site. This might be better to go first than Pompeii. Personally, myself, I found Herculaneum far, far more interesting than Pompeii, but then I didn't actually get to see the whole of Pompeii, so maybe next time maybe go in a few years' time and see it all over again. But for me, certainly Herculaneum was, for me, the star of the show compared to Pompeii. If you look to the left, you'll see some tables, and these are archaeologists looking into this temple, and what they found was a guard at his post, still in his post, lying on a bed, and he was guarding his temple with his life as the flow from Vesuvius came and engulfed Herculaneum. So he stayed at his post until he died, and that was one of the interesting things we saw here. But if you just look at the paintings, what's left of them, it's fantastic, and they're still very vibrant. And of course here it is very like Pompeii in the way it's laid out, and the actual, what we call pavements and roads. I'd say, for me anyway, I thought Herculaneum roads were a little bit, the pavements were a little bit lower than a lot of Pompeii, so they were easier to get on and walk on the road. And this is the way we're walking out now to the end and to the exit now, and on the way back to our coach and back into some air-conditioned a coach, because it was very warm that day. But I hope you enjoyed this little overview. Cheers. Bye for now.